I apologize for that.
Anyway,
he didn't die, so it's all good. There was no need to really
He did
cast
not
that.
die. And actually, you take a look at Raven, he's kind of getting mushed in this lane, isn't he?
He really is. Poor Raven is not succeeding as much as last game. No. I think he has a much stronger laning opponent here in the Mars, though. And in the mid game, I question how strong the NP can be, because you're gonna have to put yourself very close to heroes if you want to keep hitting them through the arena, right? To not get like separated from the target you're going for.
Oh, Autumn, they're making an effort here now. He was going to TP away and give the healing pot immediately to Jackie. Yeah, I think what's kind of annoying if you're AU this game is you're kind of just waiting for him to start ganking and leaving, you know, because you're a tree. You're like one of the best heroes to just sit back, soak experience, and get a little bit of items. Maybe get a faster 4-staff. Once again, we need some of those against this Clockwork. So eager to see how that works out for him.
Carl once again tried to utilize the fact that Corden is playing aggressively to do the toss back. He couldn't. In the top lane, we're going to see a little bit of a fight. AU, he did very ballsy nature's grasp before he TP'd, and that might have punished him, as now the TP gets cancelled.
Well, the heals are good.
Maybe this was the play all along. They baited play hard into this, but Raven is not interested. He's just going to let him go.
Interesting play by AU. He's baited
by everyone.
Baited the TP because he saw the Centaur hoof stomp come out, and then the telekinesis was still ready at the same time. Either way, I mean, he forces spells, doesn't have TP, but has a lot of mangoes, so he ought to be okay as far as his regeneration goes.
Who has a lot of mangoes?
AU, the tree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's true. That's a lot of mangoes. That's right.
Yeah, he had a second stack, I think. Actually, I saw 2 when he at some stage of this game.
Is a real support. He knows eventually he's gonna have to just soak XP in the lane and not move, which is what Treants tend to do. So he's trying to have as much impact as possible early. Well, he is maxing leech sheet as well.
Where do you think Techies is taking all those mangoes in the cart?
Saros, he has been body blocked by the Treants. That's pretty good, but unfortunately they realize it is still a Mars, so they can't quite kill him.
And Corden's here.
Corden is here, and this time they should be able to finish off AU as they even come with Corden's ultimate. That pulverize will finish off AU.
Very nicely done. This time ganking, of course, with level 6. Big power spike here. Sets up Masaros to get a little bit more mana regeneration. Actually went for the arcanes early here. And with this ring of health, he'll get the solo wave and he'll get level 6 relatively quickly. So they can really look to try and give the boot to NP in this lane quite soon. Towards this mid lane, though, 8-minute rune is scooped up by Dubu, who is going to avoid the enemy support on his way back to lane.
Okay. Dubu, who, even though his lane hasn't gotten, they haven't gotten any kills, which Clockwork ideally wants against the Skywrath Mage. They also haven't lost by too much. However, Cuckoo has now gone for the full Vanguard, and this is the same rotation we saw in game number 1. Except this doesn't come with a kill. They've learned. Middle lane, though, is where the kill's going to happen, is against Carl, the enemy mid laner, or so they're trying to do. No more Pulverize here, but we still have the Light Striker Ray stun for Carl. One last Avalanche, Corden avoids it. His body is very big, but Carl manages to just wade right through him, and Carl gets away, and it's bottom lane we're seeing the action now, as poor Dubu has a double damage, but he can't really hit the Centaur. Cuckoo just cannot get the hook stomp off. Raven now trying to finish off Dubu, but in the trees he goes, and silence up the Mars, making sure they can't stop Raven's TP. Still no hook stomp from Bosku. Very, very frustrated. He lost all his mana. He can no longer lift his feet. This man has had a real struggle bus of a fight here.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting experience all around, as I would say. They tried to get the kill mid lane with the right clicks, but with the bonus armor from Living Armor, they actually didn't get him.
Yes.
That's level 2 Living Armor for you, so 1-2-2 build right now on the tree as he continues to just soak experience in the top lane.
As we expected.
But bottom is where there's the first arena, actually. It's the TP out from Masaros, which doesn't actually find anything. Just a lot to do about nothing really down there.
Cuckoo, he's giving up on trying to stun people. He's just trying to appear threatening now, and he wants the tower to hit him. He'll finally get that to happen. Hopefully breaking this tier 1 and opening up their map a little bit more. Carl's already rotated, but no Blink Dagger to initiate.
Okay, top lane, Corden's now receiving a bit of support. He wants to try and take down this tower, but of course, very little attack speed and lots of bonus armor here in the tower makes that quite difficult for him. He's going to receive the aid here from Dubu, who does not have a hookshot quite yet. They're going to lose their bottom tier 1 tower, pardon me. Siege is slow. Can they fight this? They don't have Overgrowth. Now they don't have Stampede. Avatos is 4-2-1, maybe.
Yeah, but he has no Blink Dagger on Carl, so what are the chances you actually get an Avatos? I guess if Beast, the Primal Beast like onslaughts onto you?
Yeah. Either that or the tree just kind of, well, he soaks maybe one more wave, he gets level 6, and you could look to set up something. Either way, I think that gives pause for Corden. I know, this tower's very tanky. So that's what I was going to get into earlier was, you know, these kinds of games where is this a good living armor game? And it's like their push is so bad, why would I bother with it? But like their push is so bad, you can make this very... Corden's been up here for a minute and a half, doing almost negative work to this tier 1 tower.
And Corden's 20, right? His attention span is very low. There's no way he's going to forget about this tower very soon.
Yeah, he's going to watch a TikTok or something, and then he'll go mid instead or something like that.
Exactly. He is dying to get up his chair.
Wagon's dead.
And the tower's still alive.
The tower's still alive.
And look, they're connecting with the smoke.
This is actually genius. Look, they're making plays.
They are making plays. They might find Corden. Oh, his attention. He's gone. He's trying to go elsewhere, but he can't. He's being punished for this as Dubu now in trouble. They hit him when they just grasp. Also the Mystic Flare. Dubu tanks a fair amount of it. They're considering the overgrowth, but they know it's not needed. They can just toss the bird and kill the clockwork.
Okay, there's another Stampede down bottom once again, as this time they will pen him in. Masaros aided with the Laguna Blade out from Jackie. They pick up the kill onto Bosku.
I'm getting a feeling of deja vu, Richie. I feel this is the exact same thing happened last game with Cuckoo.
It's kind of weird.
Like his team ganked up and he's like, let's go push bottom, force their TPs once again.
Yeah.
This gives space to your NP.
I don't know what to say. I think there's like a play to be made there, and there's an excuse if you manage to stampede away and still waste the arena. But it's almost like him and Carl have like changed bodies or something. Like
from the first game.
Yeah, right. Like that's something you'd see Carl kind of, okay, I'm going to force the play.
It's true. He took the outpost last game.
Yeah.
Like, Carl, outposts are mine from now on, okay?
That's exactly right.
I am taking the criticism, not you.
Well, for now, yeah, there goes Corden right back to that 2-1 tower, top blade. It still has that.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're coming to kill him.
He's getting frustrated. Corden overdose. The emotions getting the better of him. He's trying to onslaught, but he's been overgrown. Just use all his spells, but unfortunately, he's going to go down. The tower fell.
Oh, okay,
the tower fell, though. Corden accomplished his goal. He can sleep easy tonight.
That's not worth it. Another Stampede down bottom.
Cuckoo is doing the same thing again. He's going to die.
No, he has support.
He also has these Seeds of Serenity with the Virtuous Dale. Virtuous Dale. The Vegetable Dale cannot be stopped, and Centaur will live.
They're getting it done.
I have never heard this word before in my entire life.
I had to Google it.
Sunspan had to teach it to me.
Really? Sunspan?
Yeah. He took out his dictionary. Abo, have you ever heard the Virtuous Dale? Virtuous? I don't know. Actually, he asked me, do you know the active name for Seeds of Serenity?
Yeah. Well, when you actually meet Sunspan,
that's what
anytime you ask him a question, he goes, me first.
And then out from nowhere, it's like, did you know the Virtuous Dale was actually coined by...
Jesus.
It's very difficult to have a conversation with those two people.
I think Cuckoo's going to chill for now. He wants Blink Dagger first. He was desperately farming his Blink. I think Corden's got to chill as well. He's had a bit of a frustrating game too. I think it's understandable why he says, I'm going to do this thing, and he just kind of keeps
I get it.
banging his head against the wall there, unfortunately. But now finally we're going to get to see some action here as both teams, they're gearing up for a smoke. There's a Blink Dagger on this Tiny, however. I want to say balls here in the Blacklist rivalry court as far as the initiation.
Yes, but will Bleed be the one to throw balls to the wall and go against the Centaur? We're going to have to find out.
Masaros with Blink as well on this Mars.
This is a difficult tower to dive, especially with a Centaur. One of the better heroes of counter-initiating. And oh my god, wait, Blacklist.
There's a wraparound? They're going for another wraparound here, but they might try and jump Cuckoo soon because he already used the Hooded Defiance. Careful though.
Carl wants Rubik here. Okay, they discover the smoke. Maybe Corden's a better target, but he's a little bit too tanky. Carl gets away. Tims, though, is going to TP in the middle of this. He did silence him, but the Pulverize not in time. The silence saved him, and now Masaros is forced to use the arena. Blood walking out of his own arena. He doesn't use this offensively, just wants to get away. AU now help with the Stampede. Bosku going here for Masaros. We couldn't get the overgrowth off. Unfortunately, the Pulverize now used on Bosku as they've killed Masaru. And they will finish off Carl in the middle of this fight. Corden now getting the revenge he was looking for. Onslaught in 5 seconds. We have Battery Cell on top of this. Tims cannot save his offlaner at this rate, but he does get a nice Mystic Flare into Dubu, so at least he gets a kill for this. And they silence the Primal Beast. He couldn't get the trample off. He's going to try to auto-attack Bosku, but Bosku gets the Primal. There's the Hoof Stomp away. Now Raven might just die for this. Bosku's coming back, but he knows he can't save his teammate. He might just die as a result. And Corden is thinking about it. Goes for the onslaught. on top of that, the pulverize, but the Hood is saving him. They can't get the Hood stomp off in time. Corden will decide to TP. He knows when enough is enough. Bosku will not die today.
I feel like game 1 and 2, we saw some really strict and disciplined Dota. And game 3, it's like, I don't know what's going on, but it's like just all over the place.
I think Blacklist rivalry thinks they've queued into a pub. And they're not really sure. It's like, oh guys, why is this team so good?
I could say the same about Bleed though. I mean, that's the thing. It's and you know, I'm not complaining. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, that was a fight where teams were behind each other's tier 1 towers for 30 seconds in that 90-second fight at 15 minutes into the game, and both tier 1 towers are still up.
Yeah.
Probably much to the annoyance of Corden.
Poor Corden is actually having a fit right now. He's talking to his teammates. Guys,
not done. We're fighting more.
Dubu, he's been found. Okay, a little bit more damage. We don't have enough mana for Mystic Flare though, but we do have enough mana for a toss.
No,
that's not enough damage. No avalanche, so he just saves him. Dubu's thinking about the hook shot. He thought about doing that offensively. You saw the animation, Richie.
I think
I like Dubu. He was the only one that I've seen play a little bit more safely this game.
Yeah.
And now he's done. He knows what he has to do.
Well, I guess not. Well, I think for him, of course, his thought process was, if I counter initiate here, is my Mars in position to go? Like, he's thinking about the play.
Yes, exactly.
Like, genuinely, like, he's like that high level. Like, he's like, I may be dead here. Can I do something with my stun?
Is Masaros nearby? And Masaros, of course, says, no, don't go in.
Yeah. And they back away.
And they're like, Corden, where are you? I'm
Masaros is down bottom, though?
Yeah.
And they've TP'd here to the outpost. Oh, okay. Hello, Tims. Oh, that's Raven. Okay,
yeah,
right.
that's Raven. I think Masaros just trying to depush this lane.
There's a blink dagger.
Masaros? Hey, he had it earlier.
It says there's a blink dagger on the Skywrath Mage.
But the Skywrath Mage. No, that's wrong, right?
That can't be right.
Doesn't have enough net worth for that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'll have to say, my goodness.
It's okay. Corden might find AU this time. Look, they're both in the trees. Like, okay, I know the Trim Predator is here. He has ruined my early game. Can I kill him now? But Dubo's in his ear telling Corden, it's okay. We don't have to kill Trim Protector. He's not that useful, actually. And Corden is leaving now, playing a bit more patiently.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I mean, he wants to farm his BKB, so I think that's his goal.
Yeah.
That's why he's playing
exactly what
safe.
he's doing up here. It's a bit difficult, though. It just doesn't feel too safe to do so. The map's pretty dark right now.
AU?
Tims is missing off the map. That's the reason why he's not going for this play. I think he's afraid of like overgrowth into Mystic Flare and Silence. I think that may kill him.
He also has no teammates nearby, and he's near tier 2, right? Yeah. So they can always TP worst case. Or best case, I guess, for them.
The patience there. All he has to do is... Oh, Stampede.
It's for the bottom lane. They found Masaros, and that's going to be a dead Mars.
Oh, yeah, they killed him in the time it took...
Take that.
Killed him in the time it took Raven to TP in. He even canceled the TP.
Okay, I think the kill on Mars is a pretty big deal, though, because even though probably he's technically your initiator, he's still waiting on the BKB. Now they have nothing to play around. He has Arena off cooldown.
BKB now as well for Corden. He's finally found the space and time to farm it. That's why he wanted this tier 1 tower so bad, is because this is kind of the space he needs to farm this item. They can kill him here if they jump him from fog. It's not completely a super safe lane, which is why he had to play so patiently. He didn't know if the Tiny was going to blink out of a toss him back to the Skywrath Mage, who would silence him and kill him. Like, they're very easy and realistic kill avenues onto him, which is why it does take him a little while. But he's got the item online now, and he's going to be very eager to charge right at some people and then hit them with that Pulverize.
Yeah, which with that BKB, like I said, that he's finally enabling. What are options now for Blacklist Rivalry to deal with that Pulverize instead? I guess you overgrowth in the middle of that and hope that you're far away enough.
It's the overgrowth solution, really. It's the only one.
I guess Stampede and just outrun him.
That might do it, actually. You're pretty fast when you onslaught in, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but you can't change directions. Or
True, not effectively, yeah. Your on speed's 1200 though, so you're twice as fast as them. So I don't know if outrunning them, maybe you would have to do some, you just have to run away from it, not like you're in a Ridley Scott movie. You gotta just go sideways, right? Otherwise the Prometheus falls on you.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Do not go to the Prometheus school of running away from things.
That's a very bad idea here. But a fight's a good idea. For Bleed, anyway, is what they think. They're maybe kind of baiting Jackie, as the rest of the team is going to smoke behind him.
They're, I think, maybe thinking that surely there must be something up there besides a Trim Protector, who's been living in this top lane rent-free. But AU actually TP's middle. They're ready to fight themselves because they have an overgrowth here. He tries to de-ward, but he is a Trim Protector, so this is taking forever.
Yeah, this is painful.
So Bosku comes and helps him.
Nice steal there on the Nature's Grasp. Pretty annoying spell to steal.
Yeah.
Especially when you can't really tell whose is whose.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Does Rubik have a green thing for it?
I actually have no idea. I imagine he might, but I can't be certain. Well, oh, no, it doesn't look like it. We can see his now.
Because it'd be funny if he just glowed green, but it was the same green hue. It just glowed.
I guess so.
It's also annoying because the Rubik cast point is very fast. So that's usually one of the issues.
It looks like Treant's, he's got some Immortal for it by the looks of things. I think his is glowing. It's got some After Effects or something like that. So they should be able to tell them apart, actually. But still, it does cause confusion for the first couple seconds in the fight when you first get it cast. We'll see if that ends up playing into anything. Likely not, because they have Stampede, which is going to just allow them to run through it anyway.
To me, they're both green, so I really cannot tell them. It's one of the hardest colors to actually differentiate from other colors. Did you know that? Green specifically. Very similar to red and brown.
Yes. Are you all they're all the same, basically, right?
They are all the same. It's a conspiracy.
It's okay.
We're probably seeing some force stats, by the way, Richie, which has been the name of the game for a while. They are coming out on Blacklist, though. It's going to be Scarlet Mage first.
See a smoke as well.
Rubik has one too, actually.
Blink pipe on Bosku, and he is right in the firing line right now for the smoke. But no, actually, Bleed Esports are going to take the long way around because they see a Treant Protector, want to chop him down.
Yeah, middle though. They're going to lose Dougal in the process. It's going to be 5 for 5, it seems like. Of course, Cordon's the one to initiate this pesky Trim Protector, and he'll him. Carl has Blink Dagger in 4 seconds. But Carl's kind of alone here. Finally, the reinforcements are here with a Stampede. Goes for Rubik first. Avatos plus a concussive shot. Play hard takes that quite nicely. And Blacklist Rivalry are rethinking their options. They realize going any further would be a death sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I'm wondering which team is a little bit more uncomfortable the longer that this game plays out, because you can see they're both like very eager for kills. Once again, very similar to game one. It's another low kill game where anytime enemies use one seemingly small spell or item, the others just make a complete, dive towards them.
I would make a bold. I go out on a limb and say the team without Lina might be in the more pickle as well. Where this goes.
So that's what I'm thinking, right? But Raven, he seems fairly comfortable. He's been TPing in and canceling TPs to these solo hero pickoffs in case he's needed. But he's just been content farming away. Lina's keeping very good pace.
Okay, they blocked that spear, which allows the Scarlet Mage to survive and counterattack. Now they're going for Play Hard, who's still stuck inside the arena. Avalanche still keep him there, but now it's Carl who's in trouble, and they steal the Mystic Flare to guarantee that kill. Nice combo. In fact, the original Mystic Flare user goes down as well, allowing Bleed to maybe secure a Roshan here.
No, that's something. That's the opening they were looking for. They got the kill at the Treant before, but it just wasn't enough. They couldn't siege a tier 2 tower after that because Blacklist immediately TP'd in heroes to defend. So this is slightly risky, but with the 2 kills and the proximity of that fight, you move straight into Roche. Jackie's got plenty of damage here and the 7 fiery soul stacks, and now an Aegis here. As Bleed are going to be looking to set a little bit more of an aggressive tempo.
Now it's looking quite scary for Blacklist.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not only is Lina with an Aegis, of course, scary, but she's also reaching her timings now, right? Like, this is the perfect moment of an Aegis on this hero.
And she's just about even, if depending on what your opinions are on Midas, maybe ahead of actually this NP in terms of net worth.
I would say ahead. Yeah. Like 200 gold is enough to say that Midas is not worth the full 2,000.
And you can see, just by that swing here, the last couple minutes, the Roches, the couple of pickoffs, as Bleed will take just a little bit of a kill lead here. And I think most importantly, begin to move around the map with some degree of confidence. A little bit of wind in their sails here. Still not going to be diving under too many towers. They still have to basically stop at every single tower and hit it for probably 30 seconds before it goes down, thanks to the max living armor. But they will not shy away from fights from here on out, for the next 5 minutes anyway.
Cuckoo is going now for the Heaven's Halberd, so we're going to have the same intimidation as last game. Maybe this helps deal with Alina a little bit more. We'll see. What other options? I mean, we talked about how this combo is similar with a Tiny plus Centaur, as a Clockwork plus Centaur. How does Tiny itemize to make sure this combo works out?
It's a good point, because I feel like a lot of the times I've ended up seeing like a little bit of counter synergy where they both kind of blink in on the same target and accidentally toss back the Centaur, something like that. Because I don't think Tiny really wants to change up his build. That being said, Carl is seemingly going to later transition into this Ag Scepter because BKB first, of course, after this Blink Dagger and Echo Saber. But the Echo Saber, of course, is the item that allows you to actually do a little bit of damage there in the tree volley. I'm starting to see that item get picked up a little bit more. It seemed to be quite a favorite among the teams playing in the CQs.
Yep.
So I'm pretty eager to see if we're actually going to get to see that. It's a pretty nice tool for defending high ground.
It's true. It also gives you more longevity as the hero, right? Because you easily transition into a more damage dealer.
And I think it gives your team some much needed burst too.
Yes.
I think we're maybe beyond the stage where you're no longer able to burst, maybe even supports, because you'd expect them to have 4 staffs at this stage of the game. So your Skywrath combo is just not going to cut it right now.
I mean, on the Skywrath, no. What does he do to be useful now? Because Skywrath, I think, can fall off pretty hard.
I think his silence is real good this game. If you can force Corden to use BKB a little bit awkwardly, I think for the long duration BKBs, Corden's just simply not going to care. But for the later duration BKBs, I do think he does kind of come back into play a little bit here, where if Corden has to BKB to lunge in to make sure he doesn't get overgrowth and canceled, yada yada, you can, you know, catch him on the tail end of that if you just keep your distance.
I like that. Now it's Masaro's going to do some catching himself. What would the Spear Fisherman do? He's not going to go for anything yet. He knows, I mean, he saw them with a scan, but he probably guesses they're really far back now.
Yeah.
Is it Cuckoo or Carl is going to be the leading man? It's going to be Cuckoo.
No, they see NP down bottom. He just TP'd somewhere. They don't know where he is. The rest of the team actually smoked. He's right in front of him. They just caught him.
That was a good hub stomp.
It was?
On the very edge of the hub stomp. But unfortunately, they're like, oh guys, it's still Alina.
Yes.
And it's time for Carl to initiate one to Masaros, but it's Carl who got initiated instead. In fact, he got bursted. Dubu still survived this whole initiation, and the onslaught plus the pulverize now catches Bosku, who's dying to Alina. And Jackie's just ignoring the retaliate. It doesn't matter to him. He just wanted Bosku dead.
Yeah, and a nice commitment there by Bleed, who actually they BKB on everyone, including the Lina, just to make sure that they actually finish off that fight the way they wanted, and very well worth it. They get the positions 2 and 3 for their troubles for, I think, just a trio of 9-second BKB charges there. Relino's actually on the CD, I believe, because she's got it now ready again. So that was a really strong fight out from them. Lina just standing and delivering there after what was a fantastic counter initiation here. They just can't burst heroes that effectively. Like I said, the BKB means that Skywrath Mage, just what does he do in the fights?
Yeah. I mean, this goes to your point, though, which is, who is the initiator?
Oh.
Is it Centaur or Tiny?
And sorry to cut you off, I just want to circle back to one thing, which was the circle being the arena of death, because quite frustratingly there for Raven, he BKBs, but he's on the wrong side of the arena, so he cannot fight the Lina.
It's a very big point. But okay, going back, who is the one that should be the initiator in this fight? The Centaur or the Tiny? Because there it was a little bit confusing for both of them. And it goes back to your point that what you said, which is, like, how do you employ these two heroes effectively when they do similar things?
Yeah, it is kind of awkward, right? Because you can really use the Centaur like 2 ways in that in a situation like this, where if you don't have a Tiny, you would just like go for the blink play, pop Hooded Defiance. If you miss it, stampede out.
Okay, Carl is so good. He actually juked it to telekinesis. I've never seen that in my life. And the onslaught! Oh, Gordon immediately stopped it! He realized
What's up, Raven though?
he is using the pulverize effectively. Raven actually is forced to use the BKB. Now the Silver Edge to guarantee the kill on the clock. Gordon also used his own BKB, but the Stampede allows him to catch up to the Rubik. Not the best of objectives, only 2 supports, a lot of resources used here for Blacklist rivalry.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yes,
attack.
only for 2 supports, as you say, and that's Aegis reclaimed as well, actually. Blacklist, of course, would have timed that, so they're actually going to go sweeping across the map here for another smoke. Bit of a better usage there. I think this is where Tim's is still extremely useful. Masaros has BKB, though, so it's really frustrating. They got a little bit of a better initiation. They could seriously threaten his life here. Maybe they still will.
Cancel the TP with the over.
Oh my god, the damage? Okay, Raven, he's got himself that Silver Edge. I forgot about that. I saw him break the clockwork last time in that last little skirmish, but that casual crit now, and he's doing some real damage here. Jackie's sitting nearby.
Oh my god, Cuckoo's crazy. Going for the clocker, though, is not the target. He was hoping to hit Corden instead. So Carl goes for the lead instead. Jackie actually needs the BKB, fights back, and with the pulverize, they can protect Jackie, making sure that Carl does die. The rest of Blacklist rivalry struggles to get in because that Blink Dagger on Centaur was already spent in the beginning.
Okay, so I think actually that was a really cool fight. It didn't really go according to plan, unfortunately, for Blacklist, because Bleed were hiding too many heroes in the trees. But I actually think that's what they want to do. They want to send either the Tiny or the Centaur in first, and then when the Lina shows, like, you bait her. You need to, because she was hiding in that fight, I think for good reason. Still gets off the BKB in time, but you're starting to really whittle down this BKB duration, and that's, I think, where once again your supports actually come into play a little bit more.
Don't you think Raven, though, needs to play that third initiator where he TPs really aggressively near the Lina to ensure that that Carl initiation is just not destroyed like that?
I think so, because I think that's like having like a third line of assault like that, I think kind of really messes with you, like, on a mental level. Like, not even gonna lie. Like, imagine like, oh no, my mid laner got jumped. They're on top of the Lina. They're sending 2 heroes to the Lina. Quick, do something. Like, that must cause chaos in comms. As you can see, of course, Tim's having a hard time finding anyone now with the Mystic Flares.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Tim's is starting to realize, guys, am I just a silence? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're a very good silence, though. Ancient Seal is really annoying.
Tim's from the best Earth Spirit in SEA to just a glorified Orchid.
Pretty much.
He is going for the Aeon Disc, so he's hoping to be a bit more of a distraction. I think that's a nice idea. They catch Cuckoo. Oh, onslaught on top of that pulverize. Ready? BKB to make sure it can't be cancelled. A center stuck in the cogs. They even spear him back, but Cuckoo just uses this to get away.
He's used Stampede already, and it's been stolen. I don't think he can get away.
He won't. The lead is now finally getting it down.
Masaros, he caught 3.
You know, it's an incredible arena, but they all have BKB. Raven is immediately TPing. He knows this is not his fight to take, and they're going to sacrifice here poor AU. That's Carl is at least able to get away.
Do it with flair.
I don't know if I should have mentioned Tim's. Tim's might have been there, he might have not. I couldn't have told.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It feels like he can just use his Force Staff to get a little bit farther away from the fights and then shoots a concussive shot only for it to get ignored by BKB.
Yep.
He's having a real tough game here.
Cuckoo's such a nice teammate. And he's sending the roast timings to his...
He's all chatted.
He's just sorry. I mean, he did used to play with Jackies, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still have a good...
Yeah. That was very clearly just a little mistake. Not to worry. I'm sure Bleed as well. I'm surprised they didn't type him right back. But in any case, that's going to be the Roche timings. And of course, that just goes to show you, all these teams are just actively thinking of Roche, right? The new Aegis expired 3 minutes ago. As we can see on our timer, it's a long one. They don't know that, but they pinged and all chatted the minimum and the max window.
So now they both know.
So now everyone knows, including you, the viewer, but we know exactly when that'll be. It'll be closer, much closer actually, to that later window. It's a long Roche, still a minute and a half to go. This game's all over the place, though. It just feels like whoever's getting these initiations are right, and it feels like every single time they do meet up for a skirmish, there's always a different item. Now AU has a Blink Dagger. Make that a Heaven's Halberd online for Bosku. So all of a sudden you want to change his initiation because ideally he's able to close the gap to the Lina. Like,
no, I'm with you on the other idea actually. I like the Bosku going in. Oh, look at me, I'm a centaur, and then he Heaven's Halberd to Lina, survives, and Carl goes in second. Or Masos can just initiate, miss the spear, BKB though, and in comes the help from Gordon. A lot of interesting team fight happening right now. Finally, Carl at the end of the BKBs comes in with an avalanche, and this is going to be their initiation, hitting both of these big beefy heroes and reducing them to dust as they also kill off the Clockwork. That's going to be 3 strength heroes down. The int heroes are able to survive because they're a little bit smarter, but that was a great fight for Blacklist Rivalry.
Yeah, that one was good, and that's what I mean when I'm talking about these shorter cooldowns on the BKBs or the shorter uptimes on BKBs, right? Yes. You could see like Gordon, he kind of has to use his BKB to rush on in, but as soon as he does that, he opens himself up to overgrowth, and then he's just sitting there in BKB, and he knows there's a Mystic Flare coming. Yep. It's rather unenjoyable for him to play, and that time Blacklist are going to get the better. Which was
look at that. Since we can see the replay.
Yeah.
Look at Carl's patience in this fight. I was very impressed. I mean, obviously he could have blinked much earlier, could have gotten to the arena, helped his teammates, but it was right on the timing of the BKBs, and he even waited until only 1 BKB was down just to make sure they could continue this fight as soon as possible.
That's really good. Cuckoo as well with his first usage there on the Heaven's Halberd, which quickly sends Lina scattering from the fight, because of course that is undispellable even with BKB.
Yes.
So Lina does retain her BKB charge. It's her last long duration one at 7 seconds. Again, I'm only really mentioning this because of the Skywrath Mage. Yep. And potentially the Tiny here still at this stage, right, being a bit of a bigger nuisance for her. But eventually they have a lot of ways to disarm her now, right? That Heaven's Halberd is going to be 4 seconds off the top of my head, right, isn't it? On top of that overgrowth. 5
because she's ranged.
Very true, 5. Yes, 5 because she's ranged, on top of eventually another 5-second disarm here on overgrowth, which is one of the few routes in the game that actually disarms you.
Yeah, that's why it's very strong. It's also interrupted channels, which is
also
very
also quite rare for roots. Yes,
exactly. We have smoke now coming out from Blacklist Rivalry. They feel strong. As you well pointed out, we have a moonshot as well, just picked up a
and you have Play Hard playing up front as well here with the Aeon Disc assembled.
Yes. Yeah, this Skywrath Mage knows his role now is to draw aggro.
Carl's gone for the win more, Tiny. He's actually got Moonshard.
Yeah, just mentioned. Yeah,
I love that.
It's ridiculous now. I mean, he'll actually be able to initiate and maybe just kill the Lina with a little bit of help, like a single help from the Mystic Flare, maybe.
Yeah. And speaking of Mystic Flare, now the carrier of that Mystic Flare also with an Aeon Disc here. So it seems like both teams have rather similar approaches to these fights. Whoa, the BKB from Masaros, they got him to blink.
Was that To test it, or was that because there were enemies nearby?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
Either way, it just speaks to the pressure of this game as Raven also finds Gordon. He just uses Onslaught, is forced to use his BKB as well. Raven doesn't quite have enough damage in the backlines while seeing Masaros playing with his Arena Blood, but all these abilities used defensively. Now they're trying to fight back. An Onslaught going for Carl. Carl has a Moonshard, no defensive items. AU needs to help him, but he can't get the Overgrowth out because of the Pulverize. Finally the Overgrowth, they got it out, and that might just hit Carl so he can hit a little bit, but he's stuck in those cards. Carl's forced to pink away. He will be safe here. Lina, she's rooted. They need something to discover invisibility. She finally gets rid of the Shadow Blade, and now they're gonna kill her with one last arcane bolt from the Scarlet Mage. Tim's found his utility this game as they now stop the Primal Beast. Corden is dead. Blacklist rivalry getting stronger and stronger. I cannot believe Carl lived.
Yeah, and that's 2 buybacks, by the way, out from Bleed to losing Roche. They had what kind of a net worth lead were we trending towards? Quite a big one here, 7K. Now trending even further here in the direction of a Blacklist rivalry as they're going to pick up the second Roche bounty and the Shard. It's looking really good for them. Just an awkward initiation. They're not having BKB.
Hard for Tiny, right?
Yeah, probably. I have no idea if Rivalry scouted that there was no BKB on Masaros, but either way, like, just not much you could do. Even on the buyback, just kind of left a little bit more or less helpless and sidelined from that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting they chose to fight regardless, though. Like, once they saw Corden being jumped on and forced to use his BKB, interestingly, they didn't just retreat immediately, even if it was their own triangle.
Didn't quite catch the player reaction cameras, but I'm pretty sure AU, by the time he saw neither core had BKB, probably his eyes just, he's so excited. That's his time to finally do things on that Overgrowth. They cannot dispel it. I don't think they had any Lotuses or anything to get rid of Overgrowth. So he all of a sudden, once those BKBs are expended, finds a lot of utility here, even more so, right? Because then they can't dispel it, than Tim's. Tim's, who by the way, does put that Aeon Disc to use. You can see it proc the first time, does tank a couple of spells, and is finally getting some damage back in.
Yep.
It's this like, what do you call it? It's like this parabola, right, for the Skywrath Mage, where at the start of the game, he's really annoying, and then at the in the middle, you just like are magic immune and have too many dispels, and at the end of the game, when he has like Sheep Stick and cast range increases and Octarine Core, he's just like the most annoying hero again.
It's also annoying because you've learned to ignore him. You've been accustomed to ignoring him for the past like few teams.
Right, he's relevant again now.
Exactly. Now you're like, oh, someone else I have to consider. He's like the 6th player. He's like Kuroko from Kuroko no Basket, right? He's just really making all the right passes here.
Yes, and
he is like the shadow man of this team, which is why he's finally coming now with his Aeon Disc online, showing that he has more than just support.
Very good.
He's also a real teammate.
I assume that was another anime reference that has gone just as far over my head as the first.
No, you have watched all of Kuroko no Basket with me. You might have been sleeping, but we did watch it together. Do not worry.
In any case, speaking of Aeon Disc, there's now one up on Bosku as well. He's got it currently locked in the inventory and ready to go. It's just Aeon Disc gaming here for now. The fight's, you know, again, resting on a precipice here. Really, really finely on the balance.
The first game was 4-staff gaming, now down to Aeon Disc gaming, right? But it's all been about the save, Richie. Every game is just about how much save can we get for our 2 ranged carries, NP and Lean particularly.
Yeah, and I can't wonder if Playhard wants to consider the Ag Shard as well here on the Rubik.
That's a really good idea, actually. He's buying it.
He's got the 4-staff already, and
he also stole the Overgrowth.
Would like to see him. Yeah, he did steal Overgrowth. Good scout. He's only got that for not too much longer though, so he'll have to be quick if he wants to put that to use. It's a bit scary though, of course, when this NP does have Aegis. Oh, hello.
We hear a Stampede in the top lane trying to catch this Mars, and they will get him.
Good effort.
Good effort. He even stood in the middle of his arena, where you can't really tell if he's in or out. But he's too big a hero.
He is, and he's going to be caught out there. Masaros taking another death as he tries to farm up his way towards the Refresher Orb on the offlane Mars. That's his end game item that he'd like to see. Double, it's not always about the double arena, right? We've talked about this plenty. It's sometimes to me more about the double spear, even just double BKB, that ends up being a little bit more of the useful part. Perhaps against an Nature's Prophet, there's a lot to be said against the range cores in general about the double arena, because then you also block more projectiles. But but double spear is usually good enough in the games I've seen.
Sure. Sometimes I actually saw it yesterday or 2 days ago in China. Xiao Yu used it for a double blink as well.
Oh.
Because sometimes that's just all you need.
Yeah.
Right? I think this hero is very versatile with the refresher orb. Like you said, it's not just a double arena. Obviously, that's the biggest point to it. But there's many fringe situations where the hero can use it for other spells or other items.
Radiant's top tower is falling.
There goes Carl now. He's going for the, wow, the Swift Blink. So all out on this build. Hard to blame him now with 490 base damage. Get that attack speed up.
I am sure that Carl with his team had a conversation at one point. He's like, hey, you guys mind if I just build for attack speed? Yeah, go for it, Carl. Cuckoo's enabling him, a real boss man. He took the leading role as the bait in the team fights, right? Allowing Carl to become a secondary carry.
And it's very much like a dual core now, isn't it?
Yes.
I feel like this is quite a wise idea to keep the Tiny relevant past the 35 and now here as we pass the 40-minute mark as in these fights. Otherwise, it's just like be careful for the mid Tiny. He might toss you away. That's the biggest threat.
I agree.
Let's focus on this NP because he's the damage and the big threat. No, this Tiny hits fast. He hits hard, and he's very tanky here. Nearly 40 armor with a Satanic.
Yeah. And now what you're afraid of is not tossing you away, but tossing you in place, because you're like,
Seriously.
oh my god, he's going to start hitting me like crazy.
I'm going to take 1,500 damage in the toss duration on top of the magic damage.
And wait till he gets the 2 toss charges, which I think is better than the Avalanche this game.
Has he gone for... Okay, of course he's gone for the grow bonus. He's got Shard, and with this build that makes sense.
Yes.
I do love the other talents. The toss requires no target, but it is much more apt for supports to pick it up than mids, especially with this build.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially with this build, like you said, and now that's why I'm curious about his level 25, because usually the mid team fight Tiny would go for the Avalanche. It generally tends to be a better talent, but if you're going for the burst Tiny, the toss is just incredible. Just to break the courier, he does not, which means Corden will get his Lotus Orb. I think that is, yeah, it is a Lotus Orb.
You know, earlier on in the day, Cap and SVG were doing a bit of trivia with each other about how Magic Amp does amplify Drow's multi-shot, stuff like that. In a similar vein, although it's not quite the same.
You sound like Sunsphere, you should speak lamp.
Yes.
Tribute time!
Tribute time. This Kion Sange is also really good on Primal for the exact same reason. It's Spell Amp, which amps your magic damage, but it's also a multiplier of your physical damage, which the Sange is really good for on a strength hero. So it kind of does like double duty there here, this kind of item. So it's a good build up here on the Primal.
Yeah, the build that we were seeing a lot in the TI Primal was obviously that blink into the Ags, right? But that's phased out. I think there's more diversity these days on Primal Beasts.
And honestly, these heroes are just way too tanky. That bonus damage, although it's significant, it's like 500 usually in the duration of a Pulverize that you just get for free for no mana for some reason. It's just not going to matter. It really make too big of a difference against these kinds of heroes. And it's really Lina or bust right now.
Yeah, the break is not a big deal either. You know what your role is this game, which is tank. That's why Lotus Orb is not a common item in this hero, but it seems very good by hard. Uh-oh. Deja vu, game 1? No, he blinks away. Bro, what is with this outpost? It's been every game they go for these crazy solo outpost takings.
Yeah, I mean, they really just want positioning here. This is an interesting one to die for, though, because, of course, usually the one you see a lot of contests over is this dire outpost, given the proximity to the Roche pit. That's why the play game 1 made a little bit more sense here. But this one, I'm glad he got out, because I think that would have been a hard one to explain to the coach.
It's also the Filipino players that are doing it. Nobody from any other nationality is taking the outpost solo. Maybe they sell merienda at the outpost.
You think?
Shout out to John X.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. He did blink in time, so it's all good. They don't end up losing anyone.
No harm, no foul. There is also a new item there. Jackie just went to the secret shop and finished up himself this Eye of Scotty. So now he's got that debuff. I actually really like that quite a bit versus this NP, versus the Centaur. Even that move speed slow can be fairly significant.
Rock it on.
And it still, of course, it reduces your heals, right? Does it?
The what?
No,
Sorry.
no, wrong item. Sorry, ignore me.
Scotty does though.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Centaur catches the clockwork, the onslaught as well. Oh, the Rubik Shard comes in clutch. However, this poor Primal Beast went a little bit too far to use the onslaught to save himself. Sorry, that was the Ogre Seal tournament for the second time. The arena comes out for Carl.
Oh,
maybe a little bit too tanky. There's the refresh. They have a second arena. Carl's on 7 time though with the Avalanche. They might just be able to kill Monsters. He's inside the arena and he can no way hit him. But Carl, for now, he's still alive. He's tanking to keep himself safe, and they're gonna catch Corden instead. They couldn't quite find the Lina. Everyone Everyone sacks their life to make sure that Lina can live, but that is going to come at the cost of everyone else on Bleed's team.
It's a disastrous fight, and yet again, for AU, it's as easy as just wait back and, you know, wait the BKBs out and go in for the counter initiation. Bleed now, backs against the wall. Monstero's got in there. He's bought out now for that refresher shard, and you're all of a sudden without a mid barracks. And my goodness, at this breakneck pace, I wouldn't be surprised if Blacklist, they try and force the game.
Yeah, this Tiny's absurd. They have to do something here. The hook shot, but the centers are hard here to kill, even with a Silver Edge. Just don't have enough damage to kill off Cuckoo. He has the Heaven's Halberd, he has the Aeon. This they know it's only going to trigger Aeon that's got best, and that's exactly what's going to happen. As Carl keeps the clockwork away, they try to telekinesis him back, but the Force Staff saves him. Gordon in trouble. They hit him with the Avalanche, but Carl does not go for the toss.
They have to back up, even though they probably know there's no arena. There's really no use trying to make your way back top and dying over nothing. You've got the buybacks out. You're in a huge advantage. We're in the Roche window right now. Roche could have respawned already. It hasn't. It's another long Roche here. Another 1 minute and 15 seconds. But that has split the game wide open, and it's just Lina who's unable to just stand in place. She really wants to be like the sniper, just A-click the ground, become an autocannon. And the way that rivalry are positioned in these fights, the way how Bleed has been unable to really hit the spear backs that they've really been looking for. Yeah, I really have to commend Carl there. It looked like he was just running into the spear wall, and to be fair, he was, but he was just moving as far up as he could, as far away from Lina as possible, dragging her further and further away. He does his team a great disservice if he actually moves the opposite way or whatever. He just wants to be as close to his team as possible. He does not want to drag that fight anymore, because that'll only help out the Lina.
And they used the Satanic to hit the Mars just barely, right, getting the toss off in the right time. Like, Carl was playing that perfectly. And Cuckoo's another problem, because usually Lina, like you said, A-click the ground, you hit the first objective that comes to you. If that's Centaur, it seems like it's no longer a killable target.
Yeah, I mean, he's so tanky. Overwhelming Blank, this pipe of insight, and had a
Lina's in an awkward position right now. Cuckoo just ran up to her. And look, Cuckoo is actually playing in front of 5 heroes.
Yeah,
they have to punish them.
He literally is playing in front of 5 heroes.
Okay, Boss Coup will finally die.
They BKB. They didn't think he was actually that alone.
Nope.
Like
they couldn't believe that play.
Yeah, they were just a bit too far away, really, for Blacklist to do anything but watch, and that's huge, Avo. Roche is up.
Yep.
I mean, they've got Outpost still. They've got a tier 2 top, so it's...
They have 2 arenas almost there. 10 seconds until the double arena.
Pretty big. Hot lane, though, is going to start being shoved in here by Carl, and of course, you have the Rat threat. Megas is available for the taking. Tier 3 top tower is already taken down. Yep. So it's just these 2 lanes of barracks. And with the AC, and of course having the summons, NP is going to really rat through these things rather quickly, and he can do so with ease because he's got that removed teleportation cooldown at level 25.
Nice. Very true. Will Blacklist rival try to rival their Nadine in this Roche fight? Jackie is hitting like a machine. This is dangerous.
Okay, that's the buyback. Quickly. Decision made from Bleed. 100% they discussed that. If he buys back, we get out. Yes. That was very clean, very well disciplined. They didn't even send another auto attack. They heard the sound cue and they got the heck out of dodge. Jackie not leaving anything to risk, although he does have a lot of money in the bank. We'll see what he purchases. But for now, that'll allow Blacklist Rivalry to move into the pit. Maybe they're going to try. There's a hook shot, but Dubu. Oh, wow. Look at Raven with the micro. He knows exactly where this clockwork is, and he's blocking him off with the treants.
That was incredible.
What a play. Actually, what a play.
And also, I love the decision that they waited a little bit to buy back just for the Roche to be low enough that they could actually take it so quickly. Very well calculated by Blacklist Rivalry. What did that Roche come with, by the way? Did you see?
I believe it had a refresher shard on it, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed, it does. It's currently sitting on Bosku. It's Roche number 3 here.
So that's what, double Stampede? Double Heaven's Halberd?
Well, Heaven's Halberd is not,
honestly, it's pretty good.
Terrible thing, yeah. Okay, he's passed it to someone else, though, and I assume it's the NP. It's not. Double Overgrowth, yes, 100%.
Yeah, all right. A lot weighing on AU's shoulders right now. Finally, Swift Blink completed on Carl. Carl, you gonna go for a 50-50 play? I think it's just a sub-50 play. He's gonna get killed. That's way too quick, Carl.
Aegis.
That Siege is gone, but he might have initiated. Monstros is forced to use the arena here. Stop Raven. Raven moving between in and out of the arena, trying to kill off Felina. Now go for the Mars instead. Monstros finally down. There's no arena 2 this time. And the Ogre Seal Totem does not save Gordon. Alina might be surviving, but she's out of mana. She's low on HP. She can't fight back. Her team is dead. Her heart's already broken. She might have survived, but can she even defend this? Not against the Tiny.
I think that's it, man. 3 dead with this amount of auto attack damage. There's just no way. first game to go the distance that it's come down to this, but Masaro's looking to make the difference. BKB active on Ravens, he's got too much.
They even catch a Jackie. One last kill to earn them this win, and it seems like Bleed can indeed bleed as they lose against Blacklist Rivalry. The first win for Blacklist, the first match for both teams, and then the two new orgs coming into SEA. Blacklist becomes the victor. Blacklist Rivalry becomes the victor.
Yeah, shout outs to them. They played a phenomenal series.
The excitement is so
Tundra's turn to pick. Queen of Pain.
And like a Silver Edge Lina, they have the tool, like they have what they need to be able to kill a Spectre in the fights. It's the big problem comes when you're gonna get your BKBs to allow you to fight everything, like the egg and stuff, but then you have like the roar from Beastmaster that's gonna stall out your BKBs and make your fight really hard. So it's kind of nice that they have Queen of Pain, Lina, and Doom, kind of cores that you have to sort of. They can't.
That's true. That's true.
They can't. They don't have that much team fight. Honestly, it's a lot of single target stuns on Tundra right now.
You may now select your heroes.
It always makes me chuckle because the hero isn't like whoa, but it's like okay, they just need a simple stun, right? Like when you think about mid laners now, you want to be able to punish the Quap a little bit when she plays her hand. You don't really want to go Void Spirit. Pangolier could have been nice, but I think you feed the lane too heavily, and you want to have a hero that can just exist. So DK is the perfect example here.